Hi Kim, it's been an extraordinary year and so much accomplished. Are you pleased with how things have played out this year?
Shocked, surprised, all the little pieces of the puzzle all coming together. Can everybody hear now?
Yes.
Still? No? Okay. Okay, there they are. Okay. I'm actually, there's been little pieces of the puzzle that we've put together throughout the year. Not just me, by the way. Thomas and I work quite a bit together. He'll never tell you that, but I'm going to tell you anyway. But we put together all these little pieces of the puzzle. Certain things come up. We try to rectify it right away, follow instructions, listen to grievances from all places, right? And I'd say probably since August, September, everything's been steamrolling. And over the last couple of days, since about the 21st, it's culminating into all the work that we've done is kind of coming all together, and now it's all making sense. So I'm actually pretty excited for next year. Now, more and more every day that goes on, we have 2 more days left to this 7-day period, right?
Yes.
So the next 2 days might be interesting. Who knows?
Yes, it should be. So the banking system got quite an overall change this year. Can you explain a bit about that?
It did. We started out with creating a VTN, or a virtual trust network, which is like an extra secure version of a VPN. And as we needed something to replace the old VAX port system, which was implemented in 1978, I think it was, and was controlled by, let's just say, a group of people based in Virginia. And that went down, the VTN came up, and everybody's transactions were going through the VTN, but nobody wanted to acknowledge it, that it was there. Next, that ensued a big fight between myself and some people over there in Virginia. And then, of course, they were calling it the new quantum financial system, and this was going to implement the RV and so on and so forth. So we decided to add a bunch of new features to it. Took about a month, I think, month and a half, and launched the key integrated monetary system. And then we got the call saying, oh, this is the quantum system, and Langley created it, and all this stuff. And I said, really? I said, well, thank you for naming it after me. I said, what? I said, yeah, it's called KIM, see? Key Integrated Monetary System. And then after that, it was the launch of the Key Intelligence and Military Systems, which gives full intelligence data, has a very large mapping system. It's almost nearly impossible now to give false information to third-party entities, be them smaller countries. Anyone with an intelligence system of any sort has access now to KIMS. And so when people show up to try to start their fake wars and their fake tax and their fake financial systems and their fake this and fake that, now every intelligence agency in the world has access to all the same information and all the same mapping systems.
Yep. So it's transparent, completely transparent, like the banking system now.
Well, and the KIM system also has what I call because as you have said on your show, the Fed controlled 148 countries' currencies.
Yes.
And the issuance of it. It was actually more of a pass-through from the trust in the past, which is why they worship their bankers on all sides. So it has a lot of features in there. It tracks projects. It does all the analytics for you. It does your currency analytics. It does proper evaluation of currencies. It has allocated asset bases, and then it has allocated funds for each individual. And don't get me wrong, it's not Nasara, but each individual person as to job creation, and also each individual government. So It's a very even system. It's very transparent. You can't fudge the numbers. You can't pull numbers out of a hat like the IMF used to, or still does. And there's none of this, where if you don't take our IMF loan, we're going to devalue your currency, which they've done 1 million times in many different countries, and we could list them here for hours. But yeah, it's an excellent system if you would like a transparent system that works for everybody, not just singular groups.
Absolutely. Well, for those who are new to THI, is it true that the trust has 6 seats at the UN?
The 6 seats currently being occupied by Rothschild, claiming that they funded the UN from the Lucifer Trust, still sitting as the steering committee, meeting every Saturday at some varying location, usually in New York. Yes, there are 6 seats that belong to actually the trust, not Lucifer Trust and not Rothschild. But yes, they're still attempting to steer the UN, the IMF, and the World Bank and all its ancillary organizations into, hence why we have Greta. Greta's actually from Rothschild's opposition, which is your black sun.
Oops. Well, recently we've had fake media claims of the Fed printing $500 billion and China's getting, I think it was $22 billion or more, and Trump allegedly signing off on a $1.4 trillion budget deal. Can you talk about those?
Well, as far as the Chinese government is concerned, they did receive a bunch of IMF and World Bank vouchers and then attempted to print RMB or Chinese yen against the vouchers, and the Kim system rejected it as an invalid asset because the bonds or vouchers or whatever you want to call them, which came from the IMF and the World Bank, both are considered bankrupt at this point. Therefore, it's not a valid asset to issue currency against. And it was rejected.
Good.
So they were sent a message, if they need valid assets to issue currency against, the Kim system would be happy to provide an allocation. And they didn't respond.
Well, they have no assets left. So there's obviously a lot of talk about the Fed doing another QE, and they were talking about printing $500 billion out, which, as we know, is false. Can you explain why?
Well, the Fed is, they're with us, they're not with us. They're with us, they're not with us. And the Fed is Rothschild's toy. So the two main groups playing a game against each other right now is the Black Sun and Rothschild. And so the Fed is Rothschild's toy. So once Rothschild gets wind that the Fed is going to take money from trust, which they always did, but just because my name's not Rothschild, they don't want that anymore. They pull back. As far as the $500 billion, last I heard from the Fed, they were the SDR, which is an IMF special drawing right. They were trying to get them to issue dollars or some kind of cryptocurrency against the SDR. But again, it's not a real asset because the IMF doesn't have any money. And the countries associated at the top ranking of the SDR don't have any money either right now. Therefore, it's not a valid asset. Therefore, it's rejected. As far as printing 500 billion or million, or it really doesn't matter the number at this point, the Fed is in the news. They're acting like NATO. No action, talk only. Yeah. Just to keep the markets floating up and down, up and down. Mm-hmm.
When their license ended back in 2012 for printing or operating, is that correct?
Yeah, the agreement with the trust, for the trust to provide them with allocations, was June 15, 2011. The agreement to print currency on behalf of the United States government expired in 2012.
Oops. Right. So, what do you see for the future, or what would you like to see?
A vacation?
Yeah, we know that.
Go ahead, say it, Thomas. What do you tell me every time I say it?
It's not happening.
Thank you.
Yes, we both need a vacation. It gets tiring and tiresome at times, fighting these clowns and the fun and games. So,
well, I mean, I truthfully hope that in the next couple of days, at the end of this 7-day cycle, that it'll be time to distribute funds for projects, for new technologies. I'd like to see people come up with some great new technologies, which I already know are out there. We see them all over the internet. We see people talking about them. And I think that those new technologies should be released. Without the non-compete plan, without the Johnson & Johnsons trying to stop you, or any of the other big corporates that have a tendency to rule the world. We've talked about that, Thomas. All those things have been the non-compete plan started in 1975 under the World Trade Organization, which was the GATT, which virtually allowed for the trust to give free money, because obviously I didn't have this job at that time. I think I was 3. So allowed the trust to give these big corporates free money so that they could start their companies. Well, what company wouldn't be successful with free money on a consistent basis pouring into it? So why shouldn't, grants and whatnot be available to other companies that are starting, right?
Yeah.
Or on a production basis or on a job creation basis. As long as you're creating jobs with good wages or high wages and good pay, regardless if you're in the middle of Africa or you're in Eastern Europe or you're in the United States. Why is one person's day, 8 hours or 10 hours or whatever it is in a day, worth another person's, which is not worth the same? Why is it not worth the same? So I think everybody's time is valuable, and it doesn't matter what it is you're doing. You should be paid proper wages to support you.
Yep. Right, well, I'll get her back. The call just dropped. Obviously, clowns didn't like that. We'll get her back. You dropped there.
Apparently, that's an unacceptable thing to say.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Support a family where everybody's not running around starving all the time. They even admit on the Black Sun side of it, they'll admit to you that they created the system so everybody is always wanting.
Yeah.
Everybody always needs. There isn't ever a period of fulfillment.
It's that scarcity program again, isn't it?
Absolutely. Actually, that's what they call it. Remember, I showed you some of the lovely writings.
Yes. It's beyond sick, the way that they think or act. But we've made, I think we've made extraordinary strides this year. Of course, the Anu ended and the Destroyer ended this year.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the minions as well along the way. And that's going to bring a brighter future for us all. But it will take time to address all the issues, and I think our members understand that.
Yeah, it is going to take time. I'm hoping that, sometime between now and the end of January that it will be time. I'm hoping that it might even be in the next couple of days. Right now, it appears that both sides, neither one of them got their abundance coming from their harvest. So both sides are in the next 48 hours are going to be trying to fix the mechanism to try to make it happen. It's not even possible. So, no, it's done. But it might be a good time to try to do something else, I guess.
Yes. That involves all the people. It's important that everyone has an equal say and an equal input. And we're making giant strides. Final say?
I wanted to actually thank you, Thomas, for all your work this year, all the work that nobody knows about, that Thomas does all the time. Yes, Thomas relays a lot of information through the shows. He helps a lot of people with a lot of the op-ed pieces that he does. But Thomas actually does so much more. Not only for myself, he keeps me sane. That's a good thing. But Thomas does a lot of work behind the scenes, and a lot of the things that he reports are work that he has done himself. So everybody should thank Thomas for all the things that Thomas does, and you'd be surprised how many hats Thomas has of his own.
Thank you.
So I'd also like to thank all the members. None of this would be possible if all of you weren't doing all your shadow work and lighting up and treating people with love and compassion and all of the donations and all the things that Thomas has been able to do, helping some of the members through hard times and other people. So for that, I thank all of you. I appreciate everything that you do, not only for THI and in the bigger picture, but also for all the people around the world. So I appreciate all of you listening individually very much. So that's pretty much what I wanted to say, I guess. Keep everything up. Keep up doing what you're doing right now. I don't think it's going to be much longer till we get our own version of a harvest. So, yeah.
Good stuff. Right.
But thank you so much for having me on, Thomas. I know you've been going now for 4 hours straight, so
yeah.
I had to listen to the Drakey.
That was classic. Glenn, he's good at it. Well, so I wanna say a big thanks to you from all the members, because I get lots of emails and chat and comments to pass on to you, and I don't always get a chance to do so. So here's our opportunity to say a big thanks to you from all at THI. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Thomas. I'm proud to be a member of the Tiny Club.
Yes.
Yeah, we're about the same height. My daughter has a name for you.
Right, okay.
You want to hear it?
Yes.
Everybody want to hear it? She calls the human version of Yoda. Because you're always giving her some kind of advice, some kind of, gentle, the way that you speak all the time, especially to my daughter. It's just, she calls you human Yoda.
Yeah.
No reference to
good
tiny.
Stuff. Yeah.
Right. All right. Have a great rest of the show, Thomas.
Will do. And thanks, Kim. See you soon.
Okay, take care.
Bye.
Okay, I put that on pause. That was just a new recording that came from the day before yesterday from the one who is now in control of all of the trusts that, say, the Rothschilds and all the bloodline families were having trustees over. And there's been a big change over on that. And they haven't been actually, and nobody really knew this, and since 2008, they were cut out of having access to the trust. So they were putting everything into one trust for their big worldwide domination plan, and then they lost control over it. So the new system being put in place, as you can see, is unfolding in the world today with Trump and the Patriots and the different realignment of the world, where you have England, US, Russia, and Japan are all lining up. And it may be also China will come on board. It seems like they are coming on board. But this whole plan to, the Cabal plan to basically, wipe out 99% of the population on the planet and harvest everything and then start over, right, is over, and it's moved very far down the line. On the 31st, I just looked. I would have done 300 broadcasts in a row on this subject. Every day, a broadcast to point out with this. The name of this broadcast I have on my YouTube channel is Frontlines. And, you know, the woman speaking, her name is Kimberly Ann Gogoan. Her ancestry makes her, you know, the representative of all of humanity. You know, from a you know, this is a aberration in DNA or whatever, but it basically comes down to this has happened. This Kim's system that she's referring to, I was able to confirm with the contact that I have at the Bank of England. Before anyone else, you know, has heard of Kim's, I basically floated the name Key Integrated Monetary System, not Kim's, but said Key Integrated Monetary System. And when he dropped the name inside the boardroom for the court, is what they call it, for the Bank of England, you know, there was stone silence. And they later told him he was very well informed, and a few days later he got a promotion. So this is something that is going on, and is aligning up also, you know, with what, you know, the Kringle Gold is all about, right? Is to bring access to the abundance to people. Now, regardless of how successful Kim is going to be with moving the money out into the hands of the people. Now, hopefully it's right away, but we've been waiting 300 days. Well, probably longer than that, but that's how many days we've been doing these broadcasts. So, but regardless of that, you know, the Kringle Gold system in itself will function and bring abundance, since it's based upon us acquiring gold for every single coin. And that is basically put into action in a traditional banking way by leveraging. So with this extra leverage that we get out of this, we're able to then generate more funds, more coin that we then infuse into our ecosystem. And this is why we're able to go ahead and pay people to do things, right? In other words, so it comes in a matter of points, right? And you know, the more points you have, the more of the division on a daily basis you'll get. Now, this part doesn't start for 3 months, 4 months from now. We'll see how fast we can get it done. But we'll call that phase 2. Phase 1 is the gold grain coin. In itself, without a Kringle Gold ecosystem, by itself, the gold grain coin is just like gold coins on the blockchain. Whatever the spot price of gold is the price that we're going to basically have these coins at. And that is what was the most unique thing about what we're doing here, is we're even though we're acquiring the gold, we're literally making sure that we have enough crypto behind it so that it's easy to exchange back at any time. So the definition of a stable coin is that you have something behind it, that you have value there that people can exchange at any time at a stable value. Well, gold is very stable. And we can also think that gold is undervalued, and it's probably going to continue to go up in this world as the fiat system gets phased out over the next year to 2 years, we're going to see this happen, that the fiat rolls away and we will have an asset-backed money in the world. Our gold grains will have value behind it. So I wanted to, answer some questions, so that people are reading through the website and they have a lot of ideas about what's being said there. And I want to address a couple of issues. The number one question out there is this an exchange, right? Well, everyone who's coming from the New Path Forward group will probably already knows no. If you've been paying attention inside the Kringle code group, it's not an exchange. This is not about exchanging TBC or Kringles for anything. It has nothing to do with exchanging this, but it has everything to do with the community, everything to do with the mission to eliminate global poverty. It is a possibility, but it's very difficult the way I see things are going with where TBC admin is taking things for the massive membership to happen. And without that, there is not going to be a very easy path. So it's going to take a lot of time for TBC to get there. So we're not waiting. We're going to do this now. And so this is why I've developed this new Kringle Gold ecosystem with 2 coins, the gold grain coin and the carrot reward token. The gold grain coin is for out on the markets. It's a stable coin. The carrots, the Kringle reward token, is internal for exchanging within our own system to pay for things. This is also how we basically get rewarded for the participation that we do. The gold grain coins brings in value into the system. We distribute it based upon the points that you generated from doing things within our group. So overall, it's a lot. It's a lot of there and information on the website. So what I want to do is just take your questions and try and answer them shortly. I don't want this to go on for 3 hours. It's okay to, on the first one we did our soft launch, 3 hours is no problem. But let's try and keep this to an hour, hour and a half. And then again tomorrow, and then the next day. Not on New Year's Day, but the next, tonight and the next 2 nights. We'll do this at the same time, and I'll answer your questions so we can start to try and bring this in so people will have an understanding of what we're doing here. All right, so a couple of the other issues in the New Path Forward group, we made it to 300 members in there. I've added every single member by myself. There is no link. It's meant to be a private group. I don't want to create a link. I don't want mass number of people coming in. And if people, we need to have a communication ahead of time, right? In order for me to add you, you need to request that you want to be in there. It shows me that you want to participate. So some people ask me, hey, can you add me to your group? Please keep in mind that, there could be 4 different areas where I could, place people. So you have to say, for the New Path Forward group. There's not really a limit of 300. That's a conversation that's currently going on in the group. We've made it to 300, and it is going to end soon as we give out links, right? When we're able to do the referral links, and you're able to go ahead and conduct sales and things like that, at that point we will stop adding people to the New Path Forward group. On that, I did look over the new system earlier today. We're talking about a few changes and things that have to be done. Testing is going to be done tomorrow or the next day. for the overall completed system, and probably going through Wednesday, something like that. Which, of course, you know, what day is that? Is that New Year's? We're getting right into there. Yeah, so yeah, Wednesday is New Year's Day. So somewhere around there, we literally could do it, but that's not a good time to do it on the 1st. So we might want to plan on, you know, the 3rd, 4th, 5th, you know, for doing this. But we'll see how the testing happens. But that's about as close as we'll be there. One other thing, there's a lot of talk about people that are in the New Path Forward group that are scammers. You know, people who are participating in different TBC exchangers, and people were hurt, and there's a lot of upset people about it. So this is really a conversation about this group, which is basically a group of leaders, and also by extension, our governance of this Kringle Gold Society has 3 bodies. One of them is the House of Leaders, of which the people in the New Path Forward will all be in this group. And that will be then divided into sheriffs and community leaders. There's also a mother of the house and a father of the house, but we'll cover that later. That these positions are not as important at this time until our phase 2 is ready to go. That's when we can start with the AI trading bots, and the system is all completely you know, built up. So that's, as I said, about three months or so from now. So sorry, I have a kitten here behind me that's deciding that it wants to play with me. So I got a little distracted there. So so this House of Leaders is other than the New Path Forward group. We will basically go from what we had done in our previous testers program. What was the requirement to come into there? Was 100 members, right? So you know, you'll be responsible for 100 members. It's not really about the referral system as much as you leading and having people associate with you and you might say kind of a group, but we'll get into that a bit later. But the main point is it's about self-governance. And this also means dealing with people that are, you can say scammers, or people that have done things. We had some conversation with people that were in a exchanger group before, and they were made admins of the group by the one who created this exchange, and they were kind of attacked because when everyone found out, hey, you know, they ran away with the money, you know, the one that was made the admin of the group and was trying to help people ends up being, you know, now labeled as a scammer as well. So in this, we're going to, I do have a solution for this, and it has to do with how people will react with one another when someone claims that there is a problem with someone else. They were wronged by someone. How would that normally, in essence, be resolved? Well, you know, bringing your evidence to the people, your peers, right? And for people to basically decide, right? And this could, you know, result in them not being a leader anymore, right? So it has heavy consequences, or not even be, or maybe not even being a member. But these things will have to be worked out over time. But so for the people right now, though, that are being claimed that they are scammers in the group, right? That they have wronged people. Basically, you need to have your evidence of this, right? And then we will address it. But keep in mind that people may go out and get another ID, right? They'll show up as someone else. So it's not so easy, but it is something that we need to decide together in the group. Right? So if there is someone that is, if it seems like this is what we should do, we'll look at removing them. So, but you need to have more than just conversation about about, hey, you did this, right? And it goes back and forth. And then some people could just be, claim that hey, you did this to me, and because you claim someone else did something to you. So it goes in a vicious circle, right? So you have to be very, cautious about how we approach this. Now, when the system phase 2 is up and running, there will be ways to basically address that in a way. And I don't want to get into that now because it's lengthy and it really doesn't matter at this time. But we need to go ahead and realize that we're going to need to self-govern. And in this house of leaders, if you had 100 members that you're responsible for, right, you become a sheriff. And the reason is not necessarily to be, like a police officer, though some of that is involved. But since we kind of had this idea of the Privy Council that came out of the Kringle Society, Office of Overseer, this kind of sounds like England, right? Or the old style. So the old style of things is they actually had sheriffs that were responsible for a group of people, say over a region, over a town, over a valley, the sheriff of the area, right? And they were like the one that would bring forth the king's law to the group, right? And they'd say, hey, this is what's going on. So using that term sheriff is more broad than law enforcement. But community leaders is what we really are looking at. How do we act with one another? As I said, there's a mother of the house and the father of the house. Well, these would be selected from, all the guys would vote for the father of the house, and all the women would vote for the woman of the house or the mother of the house. And this is really more an adaptation of something that we had done in an indigenous group that we formed. This was about 7-8 years ago. And when we did our constitution, we had that as the House of Representatives. We had, the mother of the house and father of the house, instead of having one person, like say, where you have like, the Speaker of the House in the U.S. Congress, for example. There's actually now two, one representing two sides. And another point in that is you have to be over 24 to vote for those individuals. Why 24? It's really because you're really an adult. Your brain is done being formed. And before that, your brain is not done being formed. So you don't have enough wisdom to vote. You should respect your elders' wishes if you're less than 24. You're still growing. But that's basically that structure for this community house as a division of what comes out of what is the Kringle Gold leveraging program. So as the AI bot is generating from the Sarah Gold program, there is a daily amount of coin that will be made available, and it's divided. When that comes in, it's divided up into 5 parts. One is that is for general members. Right? Those, each part is 20%. 20% going out to the general members, again, based upon points. The other 20% is for the House of Leaders. Inside the House of Leaders, it's also then divided between the community leaders and the sheriffs and the mother of the house and the father of the house, where half of that goes to the community leaders, 30% to the sheriffs, 10% to the mother of the house, 10% to the father of the house. So this is is now, the second piece. And then, there's also 20% for the Privy Council, 20% for the Office of Overseer, which is me. And then 20% for human empowerment programs. For when we want to basically do projects that will help. Like, for example, maybe we need a project to get phones into the hands of the very poor who can't afford a phone, and they need to access an account. We could have a project like that. So, so that's the basic structure of how the funds move into our economy, and that's on a daily basis. So the more of the gold grains that go out into the world, which by itself, the gold ring all by itself as a stable coin is going to be very successful. It may be one of the top 10 within the first year. By the end of 2020, we can see this as really one of the top 10. I can see USDT actually having problems. USDT is another stable coin. It's probably the leading stable coin, but we shall see. But this, as a stable coin, has a lot of benefits because we're doing something that the other companies out there that are trying to do, all these companies are gold companies, right? That are trying to create a way to do crypto with gold. And they always are coming at it from one angle, a gold company trying to do crypto. And we're not doing that. We're coming at it from a standpoint of what is the technology and how can we use gold? And what we do is we have crypto always backing the coin. Although we acquire gold for every coin we put out there, because we take that and leverage it and then go into trading, we are able to move that into our economy and also be able to make sure that we can always trade out these coins for Bitcoin or other cryptos. All right, so that's a little roundabout. So let's start in with your questions. So raise your hand, and then I'll call on you, and then we can do one at a time. So raising your hand means you go up to the little box there, and you can make, there's 3 little dots, and it will say, raise hand. There we go. So you go. Go ahead. I'll unmute you there.
Hello. Greetings, everybody.
Greetings.
I wish you all a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year in advance.
Okay. Well, I'm happy to be here. Definitely. It's looking good.
Yeah. So, Mr. Dan, I thank you once more for this opportunity. We're very grateful for this pathway forward. Well, now I want to find out, how do we, since our coin is a private coin, right?
Yes.
How do we exchange it with a public coin, still maintain the status of a private coin?
So when you look at the stable coins that are out there and they go out into the marketplace, if they're being exchanged back and forth with Bitcoin, right, Ethereum, Litecoin, Dogecoin, any of these other cryptocurrencies, that are not securities, right? There is no consequence, right? Because they're not even getting into the public side. So if we don't want to deal with USDT, we do not want to deal with fiat, right? We can create a bridge, right? To say, for example, a debit card. And that will be handled by the bridge, right? And we will be handling that in a way that makes sure that if you get this debit card, you will be able, number one, you will have to have an account, right? You may even have a bank account to go along with it. So these type of things will have to be done for this to happen, but it's very possible. The structure is doable. Right, but in regard to when you want to do things, keep things private, it doesn't mean secret. You know, private doesn't mean secret. You know, the idea of what public is something that you could just say public means government.
Yeah.
Or in this case, what we're talking about is a worldwide USA Incorporated, Federal Reserve, IMF, you know, United Nations, that corporate structure, because they're all corporations, all sub-corporations of another corporation, where you're dealing with their fiat money, their money system, then that's when you're in public. So it's no problem to do that if we want, right? If we want to basically decide what, but wherever that occurs, then you have to recognize that that is something in which they may decide to make a law that says, oh, well, you have to pay capital gains tax. Who knows what they come up with? It doesn't matter what they come up with. You just realize wherever that happens, and you're using a debit card, then that was where you have to have that issue. Now, there's ways of getting around that. One thing I like about Cloud Token, there's people in the group also were mentioning about me and Cloud Token, and their now Cloud Token has had some major problems because they built everything on Ethereum. So, your background noise is a little loud. Let me go ahead and mute you for a second. So the Cloud Token, they built this ecosystem, right? But they started with these hot words, right? Investment, ROI, the same profit. Oh, when you start talking about these things, you're saying that's what you're doing. You're in their public space. So we're not doing that, right? You know, when we have an AI trading bot going on, it's generating coin. We don't have to say the word profit, generating coin. So as part of when we're dealing with people and your leaders, you have to make sure, hey, don't say that. Don't say ROI. That's not what we're doing here. We're generating coin. Would you like to have coin? No problem. We'll generate coin for you. You can get a bigger percentage. Don't say share. These are, you know, all these words, we have to watch how we say things. So this is part of the sheriffing and the community leaders that we have to do to make sure that people are speaking correctly about what we're doing, not to get into the public side. I actually tried to contact Ronald I to give him kind of an idea how he can, because he said he wanted to become legal, right? And that's where he got going. That's why there's all this delay in what he's doing, because now he's dealing with attorneys. And as soon as you start dealing with attorneys, their whole job is to make things go slow and to tie you into the system. So, you know, but they did on the 24th announce that they can now have their cloud redeem, where they now you can redeem cloud tokens at 7-Eleven and other places in Taiwan, other stores. You can use this to pay. So this is where the world is going, right? And so they're restructured this as a service, right? This is their solution to it. But now they had to change their whole structure on how they're building out things. So we're doing things from a different way. We're, you know, a private contract association, and we have trusts, and these are legal entities. These are formed in a way that allow us to create things in which we can bridge over, right? And we can, you know, have insurance, right? With, say, Lloyd's of London. Lloyd's of London will be very happy to take payment from us to ensure that we're going to guarantee our price at gold at spot. So whatever the spot market price is, we're going to do gold at spot for these coins, and we're just going to guarantee it. So, you know, and when we store it, you know, under the name of this, underneath this, you know, say this trust, it's stored in a safekeeping facility and a bank that's leveraging it. It's all working from legal entities. Is nothing. So understanding the what we need to build and how we need to structure this, we can build something that doesn't get into something that is going to be public or a security. Okay. All right, so I'll unmute you again. There you go.
Yeah, that's okay. You got it there. I'm very happy about that. But another thing is, if I may understand you right, this coin now is a good, according to you, one grain of one coin is equal to 1 grain of gold.
Yes.
Yes, and it will be converted into Bitcoin.
Yes.
That is, if you want to pay, it will be converted into Bitcoin.
Yes.
So it is the fluctuation of Bitcoin will not affect it because
the fluctuation of gold will.
Yes, the fluctuation of gold will affect it, but not the fluctuation of Bitcoin.
Right, but we will have enough Bitcoin behind it to always exchange out for it. Now, when I say Bitcoin, I'm also saying there will be other cryptos, not just, so there will be Litecoin and Ethereum and others. But when I say Bitcoin, I mean cryptocurrency.
Okay, that's okay for now. Thank you, sir.
Oh, you're welcome. Okay, I'll mute you again. So who's next? Raise your hand. Okay, Jude, I will unmute you. Okay.
Good afternoon, Mr. Danush.
Yes, Jude.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
Hey, Jude.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
I hear you fine.
Yeah. Okay, sir. I'm from Nigeria. Yeah, I want to ask a question. And I have 4 questions, but ask one first about the house of sheriffs. You mentioned about the house of sheriffs, maybe the sheriffs, and they have 100 under them. This sheriff is going to look for the 100, or are they going to be assigned the 100 from the membership?
So, you know, the easiest way will be by affiliate link, right? You'll be adding people. It won't remain that way. And there'll be a way that, because I don't think that it is, the one thing I never like about network marketing is the idea that you're owned by somebody. You know, if you got under a leader somewhere and you don't like being under that leader, you should be able to move and work with someone else. So, though you may bring someone in, it may not mean that they stay underneath you in regards to not in regards to your downline. Let's say the point generation beneath you, right? But in regards to the leadership side, right? You may want to work with someone else and doing the community things together. So if you're responsible for someone, right, you'll be able to move around. That's what I was saying. I don't know if that answers your question or not.
Okay, sir. So another question is, you said there are 5 points to earn points, 5 ways to earn points in the system. I asked this question in the group. I want to ask it here now. Number 1 is about the KYC, the account status and KYC. What documents are required for the KYC? Nigeria has voters card, paper ID card, and plastic ID card. What documents are required? Because number 1, that's the account task. When I do that very well, I earn a point. What documents are required there actually?
So, KYC is an evolving type of system, right? There's new ways to do KYC. It's every couple months there's something new. So the KYC type of documents, normally are accepted are always going to be a picture government ID, right? So the reason for this is when we go and want to bring people to say something like the debit card, for instance, that needs to be there, right? Or you can't have that, right? Because that's part of that system, right? So they require that. The other reason for KYC is also if we have a self-governing structure, and we want to be able to, like we were talking earlier about scammers, right? If someone is doing something that they shouldn't be doing, and it upsets a bunch of people, we don't want them to go out and create a new fake, profile picture and come in a different way, right? If they were removed from the system. Now, I don't think that's going to happen too often, but it may happen. But if the possibility of is there to be removed, then some people may self-govern themselves so that they do not, infringe on their neighbor, on the thing.
Okay. So the second question is about the second way of getting points. That is spread the word. He said about spread the word. That by posting blogs and writing posts, you can make points. Now, where are we to make that post? Is it inside the website or on any online social media? And what is the content of the post acceptable? The content of the post acceptable.
I'm not actually getting your question.
One of the hello sir. One of the ways to earn points, about spreading the word. Spread the word.
Oh, okay.
Now in that spreading the word, yes, you said by writing posts, you also earn points.
I get you now. Yes.
Yes.
All right. So we're talking about basically a bounty system, a points bounty system. I didn't name it this, just so you know, it just happens to be called a bounty system. I wasn't trying to make a Bitcoin bounty, but this is the name of the system. It's about a bounty system, in which you track individuals that are placing posts and spreading the word about what we're doing. So when we're you're a link and you say, okay, hey, I put a link here. Well, someone is going to have to verify that, right? Well, if you posted something, you get a point. Someone verifying you, and then the next person verifying you, and maybe we need 3 people to verify that you did something. So 3 people verified. So it's you're having a conversation to convince people to do something with this, and it's worthy, and you'll right? And people will confirm, and they will give by accepting it, they give points. So our members can actually participate in this. Now this will take some. This is part of what we'll be developing as part of our phase 2 rollout. So it will be in the phase 1. It's already in there, right? But we won't. We can start playing around with it, right? But the problem is that until we have the phase 2 actually built, there is no AI trading, there is no distribution, right? Of coming from the dailies, right, to that generated coin. So it's the point system is meant to be on a daily basis to whatever points are generated in a day. It's then go ahead and so you can participate in something, and then the next day you'll have the benefit, right? It'll come to you based on whatever you did, the counting of your points for the previous day. So the bounty system is already in the software system. It's not set up in a way where it makes much sense to do it right off the bat. But we'll probably do some experimenting and seeing how we're working it, and while we're working on the phase 2, and we'll see how it's working. And we'll do some. Maybe we can count points after I start doing some experimenting with it. We'll see if I can. We can count points, and then on that the first day, you'll have a whole bunch of points. But after that, the points will be much less. Okay, sorry, Melissa.
Okay, so the last question, sir. Last question.
This cat is being relentless. He wants to play, and his claws are sharp.
Okay, sir. So the last question. The general, you say when you go to meeting, participate in then you meeting the coin. That's for everybody, and you see, I'm not sure that general participation is every day for the membership to participate and then generate coin, which are now set into the pool of the community. I think I'm right. Everybody should be considered free of charge. The minting of the coin.
No, I'm not catching your question.
That general participation of the membership.
Yeah.
I mean, the people that are participating, do that freely every day. That we all participate in the generation of the coin, generating the coin. Because you said that when we participate in the meeting, then we are rewarded with a carrot in our wallet. So is it general and is this free?
I'm sorry. I'm not catching your question. I'm sorry. I know it has something to do with the coins. There are points associated with coin sales as well. There's commission, and then there's points. But I really don't know what your question is.
Generally, do all members participate in the minting of the coin every day? That's my question.
Oh,
do all members?
Yeah. Well, anyone who does something, it's by participation. If you don't do something someday, don't expect any points, unless from some sales from the downline, and the points got passed up to you. Okay, then you get some points. But if you're not doing other things, it just depends. Now you have the ability to do this every day, or you can stop or go. It's up to you. And it's just that the following day, all the points tally will be done at the end of the day. Midnight Fiji time will be the end of day.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right. right, I'll go ahead and I'll mute you again. Lower your hand, and I will take the next one, which is Christian. I will unmute you. Go ahead, Christian.
Hello, Christian. Yeah, hello, Mr. Dan.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, Happy New Year in advance.
Thank you again.
Thank you again. Yeah. Nice to be here again today. Yeah, Mr. Dan, let me go straight to my point. My point today. You see, let me say, I don't really have maybe a question for now. I believe when we get to the practical side of the whole thing, more and more questions will arise. But for now, I don't think I have any question now. But I just have a little contribution based on what you say earlier when you are beginning this particular meeting. This issue of scam and scammers issue here and there, both all these things started from your first, if other group, Kringle group. Then I thought maybe the main people we selected to this main new path forward group, they're supposed to be professionals. They're supposed to be qualified people. But I'm still getting it confused. The way the same group of people again are still speaking about scam this, scam that, this and that, in that same group again. You see, you know, for the other group, you know, when I was accused of maybe being involved in one thing or the other, you that lose as a person, if you get to some places, some groups, you find where you are being called a scammer, you scam people, you do this and do that. Then my point is this same group of people, these same boys and girls in this group, raising these scam issues every day, that so person scam them, this person scam them, on what ground? What I want to bring out is this. You find out that if you ask some of them questions, you know, like you always say, when the people, because I'm always in your group, when people will bring up a particular program and they will be asking you, what do you see about this group? The first question that you normally ask them is, when they say, these people, they want to exchange TBC for people, then you normally ask them, where will the fund that they will use to exchange that TBC come from? That is the number one question you normally ask everybody. Ask them whenever they bring such in for you. Now, when you ask these people that is calling scams and question, now you find out that in one of the places they got them scammed, maybe they just ask them, bring $1,000, bring $100, bring $50, we will exchange your TBC for you. And they, let me not use a wrong one. Maybe they foolishly giving their money and they're expecting a kind of exchange in those places. Maybe at the end of the whole thing, when the exchange did not come, they started calling. Now, my point is this. If someone could fall to such cheap program like bring $100, we exchange your millions of TBC for you, that person puts in his or $100 or maybe $50 or maybe $20. Now, the person coming into this main group as a leader or maybe as a select tribe, we even lead a certain group of people in this particular program. Now, what I'm saying, why I'm bringing this up is this, because I wouldn't like a situation whereby maybe when the real program begins, the new pathway for people, when they could not understand what is happening, or when they cannot work with this system, they start saying this is another. Do you get where I'm going?
Well, let me just.
Yeah. It's a kind of, I'm bringing it as kind of suggestion, as in a preparation, a kind of maybe in preparation towards where we are going. Because I'm not saying that maybe you select a certain group of people or this, but maybe a kind of training, or maybe you should know the people you are beginning this particular new.
Christian, let me interrupt you, right? Because I covered this. Yeah.
Waste.
Yeah.
I'm not
I'm going to mute you for a moment because you're have your the audio.
just any kind of person. Yeah.
Because I've heard this. All right. So I just want to say that I covered this in the very beginning. So I mean, there's many ideas what to do with how to organize this, but we will get into that. But regarding the scammers and things like that, just go back to the beginning of this particular video after I post it. I'll post it tomorrow. You can go back and go over it. It kind of covered it. There's no use in going over things that we've already covered again, because I said I wanted to keep this down. We've been on for about an hour now, I wanted to keep it down to about 90 minutes, but we'll probably go for 2 hours, but we'll see. The next, I'll go ahead and anyone else? Okay, Michael, you have your hand up. I'm going to go ahead and unmute you. Uh-oh, you moved away. It keeps moving around, sorry. every time I go to click, it jumps.
Hello.
Okay,
Hello.
Oh, there you go. Okay, I did get you. All right.
Hello.
Yes, I hear you, Michael.
Yeah, good day, Mr. Dan.
Yes.
Yeah, first and foremost, I want to appreciate your good work and your leadership quality, because out of your tight schedule, you always make sure you hold meeting with us time without time, at least to make the purpose of this new coin to be well established even within us and in our heart. I want to appreciate you for this. Secondly, sir, I want to tell you that even as we're about starting, I want to respond briefly to what Christian just said, that the issue of scammers. I tell you, sir, TBC would have gone a long way in Nigeria if not for scammers. I know what I'm talking about. You know that you cannot exchange TBC for somebody. Why telling the person that you can exchange? It's not all of us that are educated concerning TBC policy. Some of these people out there, they don't understand the in-depth. They are seeing TBC as Bitcoin or other public coin, and they can easily fall prey to these people. Okay, I want to respond to Christian. If you are not a scammer and you know you cannot exchange TBC to cash, why telling them to bring money when you know it is not possible? They want to exchange. And most of these people there, some of them are newbies. Some of them don't understand the intricacies. Some of them don't understand what TBC actually stands for. And at the end, they end up scamming them. I want to say categorically here, I want to make it clear that anybody supporting any form of scammer is a scammer himself. Because the TBC would have gone far even in Nigeria. Now you cannot advertise TBC to anybody because of these activities of scammers. And they end up killing the community. And that's the more reason as you are starting here now, I want us to be very, very mindful of this set of people because they have spread their tentacles. They are ready. They want to capture this new coin, especially now that the name is close to Kringles, as in TBC with Kringle Gold. So they are already conversing, telling people that this is another form of exchange, so that to get their prey. I don't want to dwell on that, but I thank God that this KYC that we are coming in will help to solve so many issues. And anybody that is being identified as scammer in TBC should not be made a leader in this new group.
Let me add something to what you're saying. The main reason why the scammers were so prevalent in TBC is because people could not exchange the coin. They're always thinking,
yes,
this is the way you can do it. So it left a big
you are very correct. You are absolutely correct, sir.
Advantage. So there is no need for this at this time because we always can go out to Bitcoin. We'll exchange it to Bitcoin at any time. So there's no reason anyone to go find an exchanger. Right? So the amount of scammers to use this coin will not be able to do it. Now, if they want to say that this is an exchange for TBC and I'm going to sell your coin, you buy my TBC and you can exchange it on Kringle Gold, no. Then they're going to basically try and scam people. So you can't stop these people, right? I can't do anything to stop what they're going to, and I can't
Yeah.
All I can do is tell people, no, this is not an exchange. I'm actually working on an FAQ, which will be added to the site. And the first question is this an exchange for TBC or Kringles? The answer is no. There's only one way to exchange TBC. That's peer-to-peer and never through a third party. So anyway.
So I want to appreciate your good work out.
Yeah, we will have to deal with different scammers in different ways along the ways, but right now, you know, arguing about who's in the group, if there's documentation and they're proved to be a scam, okay, we can remove them, right? But it doesn't mean they won't be able to come back in, right? They get another account and they ask to come in and they're in, and then they keep their head down. Okay, well, they've been punished, right? They now have to keep their head down. But if they, later on, as we're doing things, everyone will be identified. And that's why, you know, I'm not saying for people who are not, you know, everyone who is coming onto these broadcasts here with us, right? Like, you know, Jude doesn't have his camera on, right? So do I know he's a scammer? No. But, you know, the purpose of having the video is because if we show our faces, then we are more inclined not to be able to hide, right? And so it helps to lift things up into the light. So we must do what we can to eliminate the scammers, but in this system, there's no need for scamming. So there's no we always exchange to Bitcoin. So no problem. Okay, you have any other questions, Michael?
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to appreciate you really, and I pray that this new pathway will really come to alleviate people, as in to increase the standard of living, especially more in Africa, because poverty is actually deep down here, and we see cryptocurrency as a very good opportunity. Most of our brothers and sisters are only running to the West to at least to hustle for dollars. But with this new cryptocurrency, no need to do that. It will actually help Africa as a whole and to bridge the gap between the West and the third world countries. And I appreciate your efforts so far. And I pray that God give you wisdom for you to challenge this purpose to a logical conclusion. Thank you very much. God bless you.
All right, thank you, thank you. So, okay, who's next? Okay, John.
Yeah. Dan,
Yeah.
good afternoon and Commissioner of Season and the House as a whole. It's my pleasure. I've been struggling to link in from the beginning. I started trying to link in even before the time, but it's not always easy here in Nigeria with the network system.
John, yeah, let me say, turn off your video so that maybe your audio will be more clear.
Okay. So what I'm trying to say, in addition to what the last speaker said, against what Mr. Christian has said, Dan, if you are a Nigerian, or if I've been in Nigeria, you understand the extent of damages that have been done to TBC through scamming. You know, scammers are trying to explore every opportunity they have. Even a scammer, talking about the issue of this not being exchangeable, this being exchangeable, once he's in a group, or if finds his way into a group, he must devise a means to rubbish that group. So this scamming issue killed TBC. What I mean killing, it buried TBC in Nigeria. Yeah. That even some people, this TBC issue scattered some families, scattered some friendship, scattered some communities of friends and other things. So my brother Dan, I think what we have to do, issue of scammers, when we detect any of them, we pick out, investigate, and dump him where he belongs. He shouldn't be amongst us. If you understand what I'm saying and what we have been saying. Christian never understood what he was saying by saying somebody said this, somebody said that. Then tell somebody to point me out as a scammer, then I will leave this group. We have to challenge ourselves in most cases, and we have to be sincere to ourselves. It's not a question of saying somebody mentioned this, somebody mentioned that. I don't know what he was trying to protect. But
I hear you.
I like the way you view things and everything. Yes.
I want to.
So
I want to
yeah,
add. I want to add. I want to add. Look, I'm going to give a different perspective. And this is. I'm going to go back 15 years ago. So,
yes.
and I'm dealing with people who are sending me emails from Nigeria. I'm a Nigerian prince. I want to send this money to your bank account.
Okay.
Right. Or many other types of scams, right?
Yeah.
And even contacting by way of like Skype, right? Which was,
Yes.
so all of these different ways, and I prepared a text, right, that I sent
Yes.
back to them, and I say, do you understand the damage that you're doing to the country of Nigeria?
Yes.
Nobody will ever think of doing business with anyone from Nigeria.
That is true. That is true. It happens.
It happens because if I'm talking to anyone around the world that I'm talking with a group of Nigerians on a Zoom, they say,
Yeah.
"Oh, be careful! They're going to scam you."
Yes.
Right? Now,
yeah.
I'm not so frightened.
Yes.
So I listen. There's scammers everywhere. It doesn't matter what country, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Every country has its own, bad issues to deal with. I wish that I could set up a programming group here in the Philippines, but I can't do it because the people that are here are into extortion. You can never finish your project, right? Because they want you to keep paying them, right? And they know if they finish, that they will go to it. So this is something that I've got from other people telling me this. And then I interviewed people here, and I want to put guarantees in place and say, I'm going to set aside this money. I mean, you can afford this. You're a company, right? The money I'm setting aside here into an escrow, you get it when you deliver. No. We have to get paid. I said, no, well, I can't do business this way. So, but this is a reputation that the Philippines is getting. So these type of things are poison, to any community.
Very well. That's good. That's good.
So it's not just Nigeria. It's not just the Philippines. It's America, right? It has its own corruption. It has its own very bad things that are going on.
Yeah.
So, but we have to be recognize that we need to, elevate ourselves and move past these things. And I have an idea of how to make this happen. As I said, I don't want to go into all the details, but it's tied into doing the point system and ways in which people will interact and people can raise a red flag if there's a problem, right? And then it can be worked out. But it does require, KYC and maybe even biometrics, right? I developed a biometric system before, which kept everybody's data private to themselves.
Yeah, that would be very good.
So we didn't own your data, right? You owned your own data, but we did allow you to then interact in the system and be identified. Even if you wanted to be anonymous, your integrity score was always shown, even if you were anonymous. So you couldn't be anonymous in the room and hide your integrity if you had a low integrity score. So these things we can build into this to try to help work past these issues. So where people self-govern themselves to behave, to behave with one another properly.
Wow.
So
that's
so
nice.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dan. I appreciate your effort and your caliber of leadership. God will continue to fortify you immensely.
Okay.
So,
well, thank you. Thank you so much. Any other questions, John?
For now, none. As we go on, maybe I may have some other questions.
Okay, no problem. All right, I'm going to mute you. Okay, who is next? Oh, Christian. Oh, you what? We want fireworks here? Okay.
What's wrong with this one?
I will unmute Christian. Oh, well, now he disappeared. There he is. Okay, unmute. Got you.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Christian.
Yeah, Mr. Dan. Yeah. Yeah, thank you very much. You see, maybe the two speakers now, maybe they didn't understand my point of view. Not that I'm supporting any kind of scammer or scamming, but the point is this. The point that I made was this. I said, what these people now, because I believe that our group, that new pathway group, I think maybe we'll have a selected set of people that has gotten the real, maybe some a kind of level of education in cryptocurrency that can carry out the leadership role in this particular new pathway. So I'm saying, well, my point there was that if people that are looking up at as leaders is still complaining of maybe that they were tricked into paying $10, $20 in order to get TBC exchange for them. It means that you as a person now, Dan, and I believe that the two speakers, I believe that two of them, those small scam issues, I believe they were not scammed in such maybe a small way. Let me just put it that way. So I'm looking at if these people are seeing to the level that those cheap things, people can put in those little ideas and use it and scam them. Can they still stand? Can they work real leaders who have to so that can defend this particular? Is a must that immediately we start this particular thing. We'll see different things in different groups. We'll see other people posting other things. Can these people be able to defend this particular project anywhere they find a kind of any level of argument concerning this? That is what I'm trying to bring. And not that I'm supporting any kind of saying that the people that scammed, they did well or something like that. No, that is what I'm bringing in. But a leader is supposed to know that there are some things that are supposed not to, people supposed not to use to scam someone like that call himself a leader. Like you now, Mr. Dan, there are some things that people should not bring and scam you as a person. And the other two speakers, I believe that. So for someone in that particular group, be talking of something like that, that's what I'm trying to bring in. Does that person was being in the level of leading other people that are newbies that can guide them well and teach them the right thing to know in crypto? That is what I'm bringing in. Not that I'm supporting, I'm saying that a kind of person that maybe they scam these people that they were, no. That is not where I'm going. I'm looking at the people we are having this particular selected group. Can they do this job perfectly? Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. Well, I let you have your say about the reply, but let's move on past the scammer issues. Sorry, there's someone else. Paid Star Phillips has their hands up. So go ahead. Paid Star Phillips. Go ahead.
Yes, Dan, good day, Dan. Thank you for this meeting. Are you hearing me?
Yes, I do. I hear you.
Okay. I just came in and when you.
Your volume is low. I do hear you, but try to speak louder.
Okay. I came in where the meeting was going on, and you were asking a question when I came in, and I believe that I missed a lot when the meeting was being started initially. And I just came in and they were asking of scammer and scamming. I believe that that should not be the order of the day for the meeting, because most of us are yet to understand this program that you just set up. Are you hearing me, Mr. Trump?
Yeah, I'm hearing you, but also I don't think we need to discuss more about the scamming issue right now.
Yes. That is what I'm about here. My question here is looking at your site, and I was glancing through your write-up there, and there was a place that drew my attention, which stated that provide program for participants. Is it talking about provide abundance program for participants? Is it talking about provide abundant coins for participants in your write-up on the website?
So
second question.
well, let me try to answer if I think I understand what you're saying. So there's programs that you can choose to participate in. So the first 3 programs that we have are all about AI trading, artificial intelligence trading on the crypto exchanges, arbitrage trading, also natural intelligence through actually humans doing trading. This programs that we'll be making available, it would be based upon what you wanted to make available from your wallet to put into the trading program. So based upon that participation, you get awarded carrots, which you can exchange to Bitcoin or other crypto at any time. And that will happen on a daily basis. So that type of participation is one level, one area which you can participate. You can also participate in growing the community. That could be through bringing members in, or it could also be from posting articles and blogs and those kind of things, and then which, then they have to be verified, and you receive points for that. So this is all based upon your participation. So wherever you want to participate, you will be able to be rewarded for your efforts in your participation.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
The second question is about the stable coin.
Yes.
You were answering someone here concerning the stable coins, how the gold would be exchanged, would be what do you call it, made with your coin. But at this present time now, gold is fluctuating. If I'm correct, and if gold goes down, will it affect the coin, the Kringle gold?
If gold goes down, so does the price of the gold grain. And whatever the gold spot market price is for 1 grain of gold, that will be the price. On the first, every time we mint and issue a coin, though, there is about a 30% fee. After that, there is no more fees after that, because that covers our cost. This also includes us insuring it. Now, we've had conversations with Lloyd's of London to do this insurance, to do a guarantee that we will pay out at the spot market price. Now, Lloyd's is very happy to deal with us because we can show that we have enough supply to pay out. Even if the price of gold goes all the way up and Bitcoin goes all the way down, we still, that could occur, but that's why we would have the insurance. So we have to develop the system to ensure this guaranteed price that we want to do. So it's just that, if you look at USDT as a stable coin, the USDT itself is tied to fiat. What happens if the fiat price goes down? Well, if everyone's looking at the world reserve currency, it's going to kind of remain the same. But compared to Bitcoin, though, Bitcoin is going to be going up compared to what
yes, up and down, yes.
Yes.
Going up and coming down.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. So we don't know what's going to happen with the USD over the next couple of years when they switch, but it will vanish, the current fiat money, and they will replace it. But what happens in the meantime? So it's very, very hard to say. Okay, do you have any other questions? I got a couple people ask questions in the chat. I want to go through those.
Okay, thank you. That's for all now. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you again. I muted you now. Okay, there's a question in here from Saeed Alua Ashim. All right. Good day, Mr. Dan Lutz. We really appreciate all your efforts and how to liberate people quickly and eradicate poverty in the midst of this. But these are my questions. Number one, I noticed that gold grain coin did not under ERC20 blockchain. Do we have our own blockchain? No, but we are not using Ethereum. We're using another blockchain. The Ethereum is only 27 transactions. I forget what it is, 21, 27 transactions per second. Bitcoin is 7. So they're very slow. The new one is 2,000 plus, right? Can be more even. So, but we are very confident in this new blockchain. It's working so far, no problem. Now I'll be trying out probably tomorrow, the next day, the affiliate program and testing that out. But the coin as it is right now, the blockchain is done. All right. So number 2, when launch our coin, will we be launched at the price of a grain now? If people join our community, does the price increase or add to the price of the GC value? Whatever the gold price is whatever the value 1 grain of gold is. The whole idea is gold at spot. Gold at spot. Whatever the spot price is, that's what it's going to be. So if gold goes up, the price of the coin will go up. If it goes down, the price of the coin will go down. It just depends. Just you would be able to use this coin if you wanted to do gold trading, right? You could use this the same as you would use gold. All right, you want to buy gold and store it away. Well, you buy it and put it in your wallet. All right. Okay, number 3. Is there any big companies or investors like banks give this project support? If you mean as investment or something like that, no, there are none. But is there a lot of interest? Yes. There's some very this particular coin actually will affect it actually is much better than the other gold type coins that are out there because we're really tied and backed by the crypto and not by the gold. But we use the gold, right? And because we use the gold and leverage it, we are known as a hybrid. And we have a lot of excitement from this, right? From people in very high-level financial institutions that have looked at it, are very excited about it. So, but we have to, we have to still prove ourselves. We have to do our our whole project, right? We have to do it. But the thing is all along the way, we can exchange the coin out of the gold at spot price. So it works from the day one. If you want to give it back to us and get Bitcoin, you get it. You want to hold on to it as gold coins, you hold on to it. You want to go ahead and use it after we finish our phase 2, you move it into the Sara gold, and then after that it's all by minting process. But we'll get into that another time. Let me see what else is here. If nowhere is the money comes from, as you will always ask others to liquidate the coin to be stable at the market. If nowhere is the money comes from, as you will always ask others to liquidate the coin to be stable at the market. I do not understand what that means, so I can't answer you. So the next part is GGC. Now we don't call it GGC, we call it grains. So is grains already listed in any exchange at the moment? No, it's not already listed. There are 2, actually 3. One is anyway. We will be listing it, but we're really concerned with just really the getting it out into the hands of the people first. The exchanges will pick up on it. The more that we're doing, the more we're going to have it. Now, we have in this beginning, from our group, we will be able to sell coin because we're pre-minting about. After we're done with this first batch of 350,000 coins, thereafter we're doing minting events, and we're working with one. You might say a private exchange that is basically working with high-level clients that is very interested in using this as one of the coins that they want to represent. And we're really talking about very high-level, large financial transactions. So this is I think going to be, that's what, as a standalone coin all by itself, without Kringle Gold, without the Kringle economy structure and the gold leveraging, all by itself, the grain coin is going to be very, very popular, as a stable coin. All right. And number 5, which area are you think will be facing challenges in this new path forward? Well, it's more, I think about, handling the challenges that are coming. Not to say that, which challenges, there's so many challenges, we're building out the phase 2, right? Phase 1 is almost complete, right? So, are we going to have technical difficulties? We'll find out after testing. We're either up and running in 5 days to a week, or we're 2 weeks away because we have to fix things. So, as regards to our challenges, in working with, say, like I mentioned earlier, with Lloyd's of London, we could work with any other insurance company as well, but we prefer to work with Lloyd's. So it's not really a matter of a challenge, other than more of we have to structure things and do certain things and present it and say, make sure that they know all of these pieces, right? And since we're not done building these pieces, we have to, structure it, build it, and then present it along the way to when we're ready to go, then Lloyd's is there. No. So this is what we're working towards right now, is finalizing these particular pieces. But we'll have to adapt them. But all we're going to do is, if there's a challenge along the way, is we adapt and make sure we make it work. There's you know, our challenges are, you know, doing things quickly enough, you know, so, you know, the stable coin market adopts us as the standard. I think we can actually surpass USDT, which is, you know, in the billions at this time. Okay, let's see. What is next here? Okay, it's not clear to me what is the connection between TBC and Kringle Gold. Did I hear clearly that there is no connection between TBC account and Kringle Gold? So it is not possible to transfer coins from TBC 009 wallet to Kringle Gold? Where am I wrong? Do I see it? No, you're correct. There is no connection. There is no exchange. TBC and Kringle coin, you know, the small part of TBC, can only be exchanged peer-to-peer. And even at this time, with the way things are going with TBC admin's path that he's taking, I see it's very difficult, you know, to see how it's going to grow fast. So, you know, there is no way to exchange TBC other than peer-to-peer. That being said, you know, we're really about the mission. We're really about the community. All the community leaders that have been part of this are welcome to join. Everyone that has put a lot of effort, they understand what TBC is all about. You know, what we're trying to do, we're doing exactly the same, except this time there's value behind the coin that can be exchanged at any time. Even both coins. Remember, we've got two coins. The external or market-based stable coin, which is grains, and then the internal carats. Both of them will always have Bitcoin behind them to be exchanged at any time. So this would be a major difference, right? So what the world sees as the value in the world says Bitcoin, it's there at all times. Okay, let me see what's next here. So where's the liquidity coming from? No big companies backing. No, the big companies will fall in line. The liquidity is coming from doing the financial transaction that we've been talking about, which is leveraging gold. So we will acquire every gold grain that basically is traded there. You know, we will receive, let's say it's 0.00055 for today, the price of one coin. That is now, we're going to acquire 1 grain of gold with what we brought in. That grain of gold gets stored away, and then it gets leveraged. So we're using a Swiss storage facility, a Swiss bank, and we're going to be using Lloyd's of London, which would be English, insurance to guarantee that this gold at spot price that we're going to do. So the liquidity comes from leveraging gold. That we're able to do things that are able to, you know, bring a lot of value into our community. And once this starts rolling, it will be an engine. And we could get to 1 billion members. I don't know how long, 5 years, 7 years. I don't want to say by March, but you know, I see this as a real abundant engine that could basically really take off. But let's see how well we get it together. All right, any other hands going up? No more hands? Are we done? Okay, it's been an hour and 40 minutes. So it's okay if we end it here. If a last chance to raise your hands if you want to have any questions. Otherwise, we'll be back tomorrow, same time, and the next time, and next night as well, same time. Is that it? Okay, then I'll unmute everybody, and everyone can say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Goodbye.
Thank you so much. Bye bye. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Mr. Dan, thank you for this meeting.
Thank you so much.
Goodbye.
Thanks everybody.
I say goodbye, man. Bye, bye.
Bye.
Yo.
This is a nice meeting.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
The magician. Everybody say bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Bye for me. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, bye.
I love you.